What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. The first comment that I was able to actually read was Borix. This show is going to make us laugh and cry, maybe, especially with Jon Robinson crying on your screen right there below me. So, going to have a fun conversation. Well, maybe. It depends on who you are and what you feel. But a blockbuster trade happens yesterday afternoon, just minutes after JT and I get off the phone, because we're like, man, we might have to be creative tomorrow. We got to see what we can come up with for a topic for this Friday before Labor Day weekend, before the season starts. Next week's going to have a lot of game week juice. Today has zero game week juice. So without this Micah Parsons trade to the Packers, JT, I have no idea what we would have been talking about today. But the good thing is we didn't have to even get there. We barely started our brainstorm before all of a sudden Micah Parsons goes to the Green Bay Packers via Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. We will react to that and have a bad trade battle. Which trade is more embarrassing? Micah Parsons to the Packers or A.J. Brown traded to the Philadelphia Eagles on draft night in April of 2022? We're here to talk about that. And then a lesson that the Titans front office can take away from what the Packers are doing that I think will be a good, actual, like a real good football conversation in the second half of the show, before good news that sends us to the weekend and the good news that sends us to the NFL regular season game week. So we will get to that, all of that, and cover it all here. But JT, tell the people what they got to do. Let's get it going.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I see morning from Sean King here in the chat. Good morning, everybody. What's up, A to Z crew? Yes, here's the thing, right? Like, I think that the topic that we would have had today would probably have been predicting what, like Chigakonkwo's yardage,
No,
like Ayumu Manner's yardage,
no,
like something like that.
Where my brain was going was I was going to go to like underrated key contributors to this Titans season being a success. That's where I was headed.
Yeah, well, either way, this is an infinitely better conversation to be having today, and one I'd rather have, because yesterday, and we'll get into all of this, there are parts of yesterday that were just absolutely peak comedy, absolute peak cinema. Yesterday, the Micah Parsons trade was just from beginning to end yesterday made me very, very happy and made me laugh a bunch. But we'll get into that and so much more. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Orlando. Good to see you all here in the chat. Gonna have a good conversation today. But before we get started, make sure you have liked the show. Hit that like button on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Make sure you're subscribed as well to the A to Z Sports YouTube channel. And with that, we can get going.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome to the A to Z Sports here live on a Friday. I'm Austin Stanley. He's JT Runke. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning around 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment in our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. And also our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. And our friends at Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They are local to the Mid-State area and also online for your service at bartondrury.com. All right, JT, we will have to set this thing up. We're talking the Micah Parsons trade from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. It's been a long, ongoing offseason battle back and forth between Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons, and his team, his agent, his representatives. And then just literally 1 week before kickoff, because the Cowboys kick off against the Eagles next Thursday night. So we will be 1 week from right now. We've got one NFL regular season game under our belts, and that is a very exciting thing here. But here is the details of that. Full trade per sources. Cowboys get Kenny Clark, a defensive lineman, three-time Pro Bowler. It's just no slouch. And 2 first-round draft picks from the Green Bay Packers, who get all-world edge rusher, pass rusher extraordinaire, Micah Parsons. And then the Packers signed Parsons to a 4-year, $188 million contract. That's an average of $47 million per year. That is the highest of any non-quarterback in NFL history. And also like $130-something million that's fully guaranteed. So if you shave off the non-guaranteed, that's still insane money for Micah Parsons, who's 25 years old, who has Hall of Fame gold jacket written all over him, who is entering his prime, but his pre-prime has been pretty damn good, JT. So your reaction to the news yesterday of the move that was made that had our website explode, people asking how's A to Z Dallas doing this morning? Well, A to Z Dallas is active, as is A to Z Green Bay, but A to Z Dallas is going through it, where A to Z Green Bay is like, oh, what? When? How? This is happening?
Yes.
Okay, right?
Yeah, little inside baseball. Was able to take a look at the pre-edited footage for the A to Z Dallas reaction video yesterday. Was not having a good time. He did not look like he was having a good time, which is
Mauricio's going through it. I talked to
Yes.
Mauricio 3 times yesterday afternoon, and
Yes.
you could just see his wheels turning and just thinking. And then, 6 months earlier, Luka Doncic goes to the Lakers, and they're just going through it.
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating that this is one of the biggest trades ever in NFL history. You're talking about a guy who is just entering his prime, who is currently tied for 6th all time in sacks after 4 years. This is a guy who is fast tracking his way into the Hall of Fame. And you talk about that return. You talk about Kenny Clark. You talk about 2 first-round picks. That's great and all. You get a defensive tackle that's coming off one of the worst seasons of his entire career. 2 picks down the line, which we'll get into the fallout of that trade yesterday and what Jerry Jones had to say, which if you have not gotten the chance to take a look at that press conference from Jerry Jones, it is the funniest thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life, from top to bottom. From Jerry Jones calling Micah Michael, to answering, taking questions from the media only to answer one question, and then before letting anybody else speak, go on for another 15 to 16 minutes on his own, on just ramble, no thought whatsoever behind it, to Jerry Jones trying to explain to the Dallas media what stopping the run is and why it's important. All of that, with his son, Stephen Jones, next to him, being a yes man and just kind of trying to hype Jerry up throughout the entirety of it. It was very, very funny. It was the best part of my day yesterday.
Yeah. What do we think about Jerry Jones calling him Michael? Because he said Micah in the press conference, but then he said Michael. Like, do we think that's intentional? Do we think that's because Jerry Jones is actually like he's in his 80s, right? Like he's
82.
he's a very sharp person for being 82 years old, but he's still 82 years old. Like, what do we think about that?
I think he's lost it. I think this is like Ray Skull says in the chat here, it's old man brain. He's lost it. I think it's over. It's so over. It is more so over. Orlando says, I think it's a common mistake. Not when it's your best player. Like, I don't know. Could you see Chad Brinker or Mike Borgonzi going up there and saying, I guess like Joseph or something instead of Jeff or Jeffrey for Jeff Simmons or something like that? I don't know. The funniest thing though is that his son kept trying to say Micah after he said Michael in terms of like telling him, like, when Jerry Jones said Michael, his son would step in and say Micah just to make sure everybody was on the same page. I think the man has lost it, and it's unfortunate. I think it all goes back to I think it all goes back to a point that Kevin Clark made so many years ago at this point, in which Jerry Jones would rather still be the center of attention and have another press conference the next day than win a Super Bowl again in his life.
So this trade prompts Easton to tweet this that went, pretty viral. And I wouldn't say it went like full viral, but this probably went like 40% viral for what it could have been. But Easton tweeted, "Congratulations to the Tennessee Titans, who no longer hold the embarrassing reigning title for last team to actually trade their best player. After 3.5 years, that title now belongs to Jerry's Cowboys." So, I mean, I think that's something that we're about to really get into here because we all know what the Tennessee Titans have been since the April draft night in 2022 when the Titans traded away A.J. Brown. And in that trade, the Titans got the 18th overall pick, so a first-round pick and a third-round pick. The Eagles got A.J. Brown. A.J. signs the contract with the Eagles for $100 million over 4 years and is fresh off a Lombardi trophy and winning the Super Bowl going into the highly anticipated year. It is one of the, I think he's absolutely a top 5 wide receiver in the game. So it is an embarrassing.
He is
trade.
now. Yes.
He is now. Now, what was he at that point? Right. That's right. And look, Jeff says Easton's wrong on that tweet. Is he? I don't know. I think Dre Skull says tweet is correct though. Titans trade is still worse. So that's what we are going to discuss here. And I think we're going to have this conversation, and then we're going to get to the football conversation about what the Packers did on the other side of it and what the Titans are looking to do as well. So Nick also says, didn't the Eagles get the Titans late first in a swap? No, that is what gets confused quite a bit. Major Keys is also confused at this too. It was not a pick swap. The Titans got the Eagles' 18th pick. The Titans then drafted Treylon Burks. Then the Titans kept their 26th overall pick. Correct. They traded their 26th overall pick to the Jets and got more picks. So the Titans got the 35th pick. They used it with McCreary. They got other picks in the second and the third round as well. So it was 2 separate trades, guys. It was not a pick swap. The Titans got a first and a third from the Eagles for AJ. And then they made another trade with the Jets, and they used the third round pick in that Jets trade as well. So it's completely different trades there. So just wanting to clear that up so everybody can understand that. Now, JT, anything else to add before we ask our question here?
No, I think we're ready to get into the question because I have a feeling it's gonna be a long-winded one, and it's gonna be a fun one.
All right, so this is a question that we're gonna ask, and obviously we have the results in hand with the Titans AJ Brown trade. Yes. We have 0 results in hand for the Micah Parsons Cowboys Packers trade, right? So the question we're gonna ask here: which was the more embarrassing trade, the Titans and AJ Brown or the Cowboys and Micah Parsons? Thank you, Titans Kyle. If you don't remember the trade, Google is free. Damn straight. Thank you. Google it. We got it all at our fingertips. Okay. So which trade was more embarrassing, the Titans and AJ Brown or the Cowboys and Micah Parsons? You know me. I'm going to take every opportunity to get a great YouTube poll set up so we can do this amazing data for this Titans audience that is going to figure out which is worse, which is more embarrassing. So we'll discuss that and get your answers here in a second. But first, the team at the Barton Drury Insurance Group has customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They are local to the mid-state area. They are great at what they do, and they're online at bartondrury.com. They can help you out with whatever you're looking for and whatever role you are playing in acquiring the insurance policy, whether you're an employer like Zach and I, looking to find the right workers' comp policy, looking to find the best employee benefits that we can have for our team. And we did that with the Barton Drury Insurance Group on both accords. You also could be, a family. You could be a single individual looking for how you can make sure you have the best policies for whatever that is. That's home, auto, rental, umbrella. They get 401k planning. They can do it all. They're local to the mid-state. They are sports guys, Titans fans, right here in the area to help you out because they want to continuously invest in the area. Check them out online, bartondrury.com.
Yeah, so much more to get into today. But before we get to that, make sure you are liking the show. Make sure you are subscribed to the A to Z Sports YouTube channel. Want to get those likes up. We can see them. Still not enough likes here. As King VC said earlier, lock in, like the show. Jerry Jones is crazy. I agree. So let's get some more likes in there. Make sure you're liking the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to not miss any of the great content we will be pushing to you all throughout the 2025 season.
All right, so I'm going to work on setting up the YouTube poll while JT, you go to the comments, because the question we ask is, which was more embarrassing, AJ Brown traded from the Titans or the Cowboys trading away Micah Parsons? Good luck in the chat. You might have to censor some people. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I'm sure this is an interesting bevy of answers here.
This is very emotionally charged this morning, but it is by far, without a doubt, a landslide of people in the comments thinking the AJ Brown trade is worse. Rashid saying AJ Brown, Curtis saying Titans easily, Alex saying AJ Brown, no doubt, Charlie saying Titans by far, Tall Texan saying Titans by far, Cap saying 100% AJ and not close, American Toff saying AJ Brown, no competition, Titans, Brown was way worse, AJ Brown. Orlando, first person to say the Cowboys, says Cowboys because of how public it was. Nick saying AJ. Jason, second one who says that the Cowboys easy is the winner there. Titans Kyle says still think it's AJ. Jeff says Titans trade hands down. Deborah says Titans for sure. Daniel Caribbean says Micah. So that's 3 for Micah to 100,000 for AJ.
So let's kind of walk through some of the circumstance and the details, because what I want to try to do is I want to try to remove Treylon Burks and remove the last 3 seasons and discuss the situations. So I do. I think that's the only way we can do this. How I know, but like I think you and I can control like the chat. We can't control the chat. The chat's gonna do what they do. People watching are gonna feel how they feel. But you and I can be on the same page here. Right? Yes. Like, let's take Treylon Burks being a massive bust out of the equation. Let's take the Titans last few years out of the equation and what they did with the opportunity, and just say you traded away your best player, AJ Brown, at age 24 or whatever it was, and you got a first-round pick and a third-round pick for that on draft night. And then the Cowboys are trading their best player by far, Micah Parsons, 25 years old, who's on the way to a Hall of Fame career, the 7 days before kickoff, for 2 first-round picks and a player who used to be very good, right?
Yes.
So let's try to keep it there. So how do you go here? Because I want to let the YouTube poll and Troy says don't even compare the trades. I think you absolutely can't, because we saw what has happened with the Titans because of it, right? But the Titans missed the opportunity for what the return was. So we haven't seen the Cowboys do anything yet. So JT, and so Henry, hello ladies, real quick, sorry, says Henry was the best player the Titans ever had. Okay, well, in this situation, it was spring of 2022. Derrick Henry was 1 game returned from his broken foot. So we didn't know what to expect with Derrick Henry at that point moving forward. So now, JT, I will let you have the floor. Where are you taking this conversation?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the very small minority and say that the Micah Parsons trade is easily worse than the AJ Brown trade. And I understand that this is we are in the Nashville bubble that is just been battered for 3.5 seasons. But if we are taking this out, of what we know right now, right? You talk about the 2 players, and there's a lot of people in the chat here that say that AJ Brown was a top 5 wide receiver at the time, that he was, the best player. AJ Brown in 3 seasons with the Titans. Obviously, he had some injuries in there, but barely a 1,000-yard receiver. 1,051 yards in 2019, 1,075 yards in 2020, and 869 yards in 2021. Compare that to what you are trading in your young player in Micah Parsons. Through 4 seasons, is tied 6th all time in sacks. There's no competition in terms of what you are bringing to the table between these 2 players. AJ Brown, an ascending wide receiver, sure. A guy who could become a top 5 receiver and has become a top 5 receiver. Versus Micah Parsons, who is already a Hall of Famer. Like, he could play 4 years, and that is a Hall of Fame career right there.
Hold on, time out. Where are you seeing he's tied for sack? Where are you seeing he's 6th all-time sacks? Because he's not an all-time. What is that? Is that for Cowboys? Like, where is that?
for the NFC.
The NFC?
Yes.
There's no way. How many sacks does Micah Parsons have in 4 years? Because there are.
I know I saw it yesterday. I know I did.
Do you know how many players have over 100 sacks in their NFL career? 66.
Sure.
Micah Parsons doesn't have 66 sacks or 100 sacks in 4 years. That would be crazy. I don't know where the sick. Maybe is it active? Maybe
I think it's active.
Active in just okay.
That's probably what
sixth in sacks active.
Yes.
And with just 4 years of doing that. So
okay.
I think that's okay.
So that's fair. Yes.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
sure.
Make sure.
You want to take that back still. 2,000-yard seasons, an 869-yard season, 3 years versus 4 years already tied for sixth in active sack leader. There still is no difference. Like, right. You guys can say that I was wrong, and you can put in the chat that I'm throwing stats. That still is no comparison. There is no comparison between what A.J. Brown did and what Micah Parsons did in A.J. Brown's first 3 years and Micah Parsons' first 4 years. And I know that people are going to disagree with that because this is we know the outcome of this trade. However, I think that you look at the trade compensation here and you look at what you realistically could get for probably the best edge rusher in the entire league. And I think that 2 first-round picks, which are going to be late first-round picks because this Green Bay Packers team is going to be a perennial playoff competitor for the next 2.5, 3 years for sure, versus what you got at the time with A.J. Brown, which was a top 20 pick in what people consider a pretty decent wide receiver class at the time, not wanting to pay that money. And I think you look at it and you say easily, considering that you were a week away from the season, and Jerry Jones gets up to the podium yesterday and says, we are still going to be competitive, and spins it and says, we can go use those 2 picks now to go get somebody. Like, that is more embarrassing than the A.J. Brown. The A.J. Brown at the time was what people called a calculated move. It was, I think that's not a secret. I think the initial reaction was, hey, this is a calculated move. This is the hope that you can get another young wide receiver and you can stay cost savvy, you can stay cost effective with your team as you try to continue to be competitive. That was the initial reaction nationally, right? You look at what the Micah trade is. There's nobody saying that this is a smart move for the Cowboys.
Well, so all right, if we're under Easton's tweet, we're talking about which one was more embarrassing, right? If you're using the word embarrassing, then Jerry Jones trading away Micah Parsons 7 days before the season is more embarrassing than the Titans trading away A.J. Brown on draft night where they had immediate return, right? Because you get the pick, you make the pick, and you had the player moving forward. That I agree. I calculated football business move. It was a dumb football business move. And also, here's the thing too, like wide receivers get traded.
Yes.
A lot, like really good. Like Tyreek Hill's been traded. Stephon Diggs been traded like 8 times. You know, like that stuff like that happens.
Yes.
Like guys get traded a lot at that position.
Stephon Diggs, yeah. Like you said, that set up the Justin Jefferson trade. That's exactly what Jon Robinson was trying to do there.
Yes. And so it's understandable to an extent. But I think here's where I think I've rethought how dumb the A.J. Brown trade was and why I think the A.J. Brown trade is dumber than the Micah Parsons trade, but the Micah Parsons trade is more embarrassing. So let me dive into this. The Tennessee Titans in 2021 went through hell and back to earn the number 1 seed in the AFC. They lost to the Bengals. We don't need to revisit that. But that entire offense was back. You had Tannehill, who played well until that game, throughout that year with a difficult year. Derrick Henry now had an offseason for the foot injury to heal. A.J. Brown balled out in that playoff game, had a sick touchdown catch to help the Titans get back into that thing, right? The defense just sacked Joe Burrow 9 times, and I think 2 other sacks were called off for penalties. So the defense was good. The Titans offense was back and going to be healthy because they were banged up the entire year. You had AJ on IR, Julio Jones on IR for a stint. Derek was down. You were out there rolling with Josh Reynolds, NWI, and Devontae Foreman, and Dontrell Hilliard. And you were winning enough games to get the 1 seed. Now you're getting all those guys healthy again going into it. And you trade away your biggest playmaker that you had the most investment opportunity in long term. You were in the middle of a playoff run. You had just been in the playoffs 3 years in a row. Yes, 3 years, 19, 20, 21. 3 years in a row, you were in the playoff game, in the playoffs. You had a home playoff game for the second year in a row. You were the 1 seed. Run it back. Do what you got to do to run it back. The Cowboys last year were 7-10 with Micah Parsons. The Cowboys the year before were kind of like, when the Cowboys and the Titans in these situations are in different areas of their football building. The Titans were in the middle of the window. The window was closing, but it was open. The Cowboys are trying to go find the next window to open.
Well, if you know Jerry Jones, you know that window's never closed.
In his demented mind, sure, whatever. But like I feel like the Titans wasting, and it was the arrogance of the front office, and the arrogance of Jon Robinson, the arrogance of the team to think we only throw the ball to AJ Brown 5 times a game. Why do we want to pay him $25 million a year? Because we're going to give Derek Henry the ball 30 times a game, right? That whole justification, right? It was arrogant.
Yeah.
This at least, and I don't think when we're looking at the returns, Micah Parsons at this point is a better player than AJ Brown was at that point. I think you can say Micah Parsons is better than AJ Brown right now. They're both like high-end all-pro level players in the NFL right now, but edge rusher is more valuable than wide receiver. And Micah Parsons is better at his position than AJ Brown is at his position. Now that's splitting hairs, but it's there. And so that's why the Packers send 2 first-round picks and a decent player to the Cowboys for this. And look at the money, $188 million compared to AJ's 100. It's a big difference as well. So, but I think now if you're looking at what the Titans gave up, which was their arrogance of that window, the Cowboys now have chess pieces. They've got ammo. They've got chips that they can do and use in different ways to figure out what their future is. What I don't know is how this affects the quarterback position long term, because Dak has a ton of money left on his deal. And I don't know how that impacts. But are the Cowboys now with 3 first-round picks in the next couple of years, how are they going to be able to maneuver that to get a quarterback of the future? Because they can get out from Dak after 27. Mm-hmm. So do you draft somebody in 26 that's a good quarterback class, right? Have him sit behind Dak and then battle for 27, cut Dak and save some money and move forward. And Micah Parsons allowed you to do that, right? Because I was talking to Mauricio Rodriguez, our Cowboys writer yesterday, and I was like, how does this what was the Herschel Walker trade? And that trade, it was a different NFL. There's different NFL rules. But the Cowboys trade away Herschel Walker to get 5 nobody players from the Vikings. Now, the rules allowed for the Cowboys to cut those 5 nobody Vikings after that year, and they turned into draft capital. Then they used those 5 draft picks to add more draft picks and draft more players to get a roster to build around Aikman, Emmett, Irvin, and others.
Correct.
And they weren't able to. So that was a platform that they jumped off to that Super Bowl run. Now, they're not going to be able to get, that many draft picks, but they got 2 first-round draft picks to play with. So that's where I'm curious to see what the Cowboys do with it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, right? You're curious to see. There's the answer is left unopen, right? Or open, right? There's no ending to this yet. And I think that's a big part of it. Continues to be the reason, because you look at the AJ Brown trade, that's final. You know what he's done since. And I think that is, it's never going to be a one-to-one comparison as much as we try. I do still think, though, that you bring up what they might be trying to do with that trade. I think if Jerry Jones is still around, that one of those, the 2027 two firsts are in preparation to try to go get Arch Manning because he looks at the name alone and he is licking his lips. He's rubbing his hands together and he's saying that's my end game if he's still around.
So they have four. I said four first-round draft picks the next 2 years. Yes. So they really have a lot of chips to play with.
Yeah.
Look, so it's an opportunity to reset and rebuild. Now, I agree with you. What's going to happen? And do you trust it to happen? Who knows?
That's another big thing. Like the Cowboys have a lot of capital to do that. You look back at what the Cowboys have done in the last 3 years of the draft, and it has been not good. Like they are also on a pretty generational run of not making that many good picks. When it comes to looking at the different type of talent they put around Micah Parsons on that line, it has not come close. It has been Micah Parsons for 3 years now. It has been Micah Parsons and Micah Parsons only. So how they figure that out will be very interesting.
All right. So the YouTube poll,
I'm assuming landslide.
Which was the more embarrassing trade? Titans trading A.J. Brown 70%. Cowboys trading Micah Parsons 30%.
I think I expected more, to be honest.
Well, so you and I both say embarrassing, Cowboys.
Sure.
I think arrogant, which means dumb for me, Titans. Like they're both bad. They're both stupid. They both should not have happened.
Correct.
Right? But I think the Cowboys, because they're not in the middle of a playoff run, I think there's more flexibility for the future. The Titans ended their playoff run with that decision because they were arrogant to think they could overcome it. So I'm going to get to some super chats before we move on to see what the Titans can learn from this on the other side with the Packers. And he just says, suddenly Cowboys fans know how the Titans fans feel after the A.J. Brown trade, 100% on that one. But they already knew that because they just traded away Luka Doncic, the Mavs, 200 days before, whatever it was, in February. And Nija says, JT, you're leaving off the fact that AJ's stats were all based off a contribution from the team and quarterback. Parsons is based off his own performance. True, right?
I mean, sure.
But I think it's, for me, it's like Austin Huff and Jack Gentry used to say, Titans receiving yards, like the Canadian dollar, just didn't go as far. So you had to do the exchange rate to make sure that you knew what, if you go for 1,000 yards in the Titans offense, that's like 1,400 in most offenses in the NFL. So you just have to have the exchange rate there. And A.J. Brown was a massively impactful player for a limited role, but, that's here nor there. Big Ten Jeff jumps over to YouTube for a super chat. He says, sorry, JT, but you're dead wrong. Compensation isn't even close. 2 firsts and a player compared to a first and a third, and traded after the best wide receivers were taken. So, I mean,
you didn't know that at the time, though. Like after the best wide, that's in hindsight.
Yeah.
At the time, they did not know who the best wide receivers were going to be. So,
I mean, Justin Jefferson was the 22nd pick overall the year before.
Yes. Correct. So.
And Jalen Reagor was the 21st pick overall.
Before Justin. I understand the sentiment, but once again, it's looking at it, which I know it's pretty impossible to do. And I know it's going to be very, very hard for forever, but we're still looking at it with knowing the outcome in this context. And it's hard not to do. So,
and like 2022's prices is not the same price as 2025.
Correct.
Like, would the Titans get more for A.J. Brown? If it not like 28-year-old A.J., but like 24-year-old A.J., would the Titans get more this year than 3 years ago? I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to know. But Micah Parsons is a better, more valuable player than A.J. Brown. And that's not a knock against A.J. Brown. It's just positional value and the reality. Andre super chat. Both happened after paying average quarterbacks. Cowboys got 2 firsts and a good player back. got an old
You
dried
got to stop
bird
saying
poop.
he's a
Yeah.
good player. We got to stop saying he's a good player. He is washed.
Kenny Clark.
Kenny Clark is washed.
Okay, they got a body who used to be a good player.
They got a player, by the way, that is not replacing Micah Parsons. Like it is a totally different position and a totally different thing they want him to do. So
yeah. I mean, we can go back and forth on this. And like Bork says, Micah Parsons meant everything to the Dallas defense. Absolutely. And you can say that in what you do, 7-10.
So here's the thing that I saw. As Daniel said, Micah Parsons is the 6th player in NFL history with 50 plus sacks in his first 4 seasons.
So that's what you were trying to get to.
Yes.
So the 6th NFL player for
all time
50 plus sacks in their first 4 years. Okay. So yeah, I mean, nobody's doubting he's great. I was just confused at the sack situation.
Fair enough.
So. TLG says edge is so much harder to find than wide receiver. Jerry effed up, but at least got 2 first. J-Rob gave up the farm. I mean, again, like Jon Robinson got what the Chiefs got a first for Tyreek Hill, right? Like it was like, I can't remember exactly. It was the same year, correct?
Yeah, I can find the trade compensation for Tyreek Hill.
Like the oh my God, Hassani. AJ Brown is way more valuable than Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Hassani is on some stuff this morning in the chat. I will give that to him. So the trade compensation for Tyreek Hill, they got a 2022 first round pick, a second round pick, 2 fourth round picks, and a 6th round pick.
They have more picks, but Tyreek Hill was way better that year than AJ Brown and more proven.
Yes. You can't, first of all, Micah Parsons also takes teams to playoffs. AJ Brown taking teams to playoffs has nothing to do with, the compensation. It's one player.
Yeah.
And that's why, once again, we're trying to have this conversation with no hindsight in mind and look at it. And the
Titans were in the middle of the Titans were in the middle of a 3-year playoff run, coming off being the number 1 seed. And if they did not trade away AJ Brown, every important piece in that offense was back.
Correct. I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. However, you look at the press conference yesterday from Jerry Jones. And you see a guy who is once again surrounded by yes men, and it's a totally different situation. I'll give you that, because Jerry Jones and how he runs that team is different than any other team in the entire NFL. And they still think they're going to be competitive this year. But you look at that defense. You look at what you had with Tennessee. You still had Derrick Henry, right? You still had how you wanted to run your offense and how you thought you could be the most effective with your offense. You look at that Dallas defense now, even with Micah Parsons, that was going to be a rough defense. You look at it now with Micah Parsons' name not on there, I have a hard time believing that any team in the league cannot score at least 30 points on this defense.
The Cowboys got outscored last year by 118 points.
And it's going to be more.
The Titans got outscored last year by 149.
I think 149. Cowboys can reach that mark.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of people defending AJ Brown in the chat. We're not against AJ Brown. We're just telling you what Micah Parsons' value is in the NFL, that he's a more valuable player because he plays a more valuable position than the wide receiver position.
Correct.
If I ask anybody, what are the 2 most valuable positions in the entire sport of football? Number 1 is obviously quarterback. Number 2 is not wide receiver. It's not. It's edge rusher or quarterback tackler, wherever they line up. So Major Key says AJ Brown was more valuable. No, he wasn't. Because Derrick Henry was the one that was deemed the most valuable offensive player. He could have been, again, this is not a knock against AJ. Let's just understand The wide receiver position is the most dependent position in the sport because how many things have to go right for that player to get the football? Where Micah Parsons can beat his guy one-on-one and disrupt that entire play. And again, Ben, A.J. Brown, our entire offense imploded without him. That's not the point. That's not the point. Like, come on, let's just talk through this and understand. Like, this is not a knock against AJ. AJ was a playmaker, a game changer, a absolute difference maker. And yes, the offense was awful without it. But you still had a chance to make the playoffs in 2022, and Josh Dobbs got sack fumbled. You know, like, as ugly as it was, they had opportunities, but they should not have traded AJ Brown. It was dumb. It was stupid to do that. We all know that. We all agree with that. Micah Parsons is a more valuable player than AJ. That's the situation. And AJ is a top 5 wide receiver now because the Eagles give him the ball more than the Titans were going to. Also true, right? All right, now let's do this. Let's talk about the Packers side of this because I think this is interesting as well. But let's just move on from that. So this is Tom Pelissero. For decades, no team has been more committed to a draft and develop philosophy than the Packers, who are breaking their mold in a massive way to land one of the NFL's top defenders. Micah Parsons made 4 Pro Bowls and just turned 26. That picture right there is a younger Chad Brinker with the Packers, who is now the president of football operations with the Titans, who are doing the draft and develop philosophy. So I think this is an interesting question to get into because realistically, the Titans are trying to do what the Packers model is. But the Packers just went gangbusters all in on Micah Parsons. So here's this question. Realistically, what year of this leadership structure can the Titans be in the Packers' current situation where they are making a move? Because a lot of you guys watching, not a lot, not all, but a decent chunk of you guys watching, wanted the Titans to go after Micah Parsons now. But realistically, what year would actually be smart for the Titans to do what the Packers just did with this leadership? So we'll get to those thoughts overall here in a second. But first, I want to tell you guys about our great friends, as always, the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care when injuries happen in life, because they do. And it's always frustrating and a massive inconvenience when injuries do happen. They disrupt your family life, your social life, your work maybe. But the Bone and Joint Institute can help you get through that with all their experts and their support staff there in Franklin, Tennessee, just off Highway 96 and I-65, next door to Williamson Medical Center. They can literally do it all right there under one roof. So check them out and book an appointment when you need them. They're right there, boneandjointtn.org.
Yeah, excited to get into what you guys think is the realistic timeline for the Titans in a similar situation. But first, if you have not already, we would kindly ask you to leave us a 5-star review over on Google. Simply search A to Z Sports. That is ATOZ Sports on Google, and leave us a 5-star review. We want to make this season the best possible for Titans coverage in a big 2025 season. So you can do that by leaving us your review. Constructive criticism over on the Google reviews. Just make sure to leave us a 5-star review with it.
All right, JT. So we're asking the question, realistically, what year of this current leadership structure can the Titans be in the current Packers situation? So I'll let you go to the chat. We'll bring up the graphic one more time here. Tom Pelissero talking about for decades how committed the Packers were to the draft and develop philosophy, and now going after Micah Parsons is breaking that mold. So the Titans are trying to do the same thing with Chad Brinker. For what it's worth, Mike Borgonzi coming from the Chiefs, also very similar draft and develop type of philosophy too. So what year would it make sense for the Titans to be in a situation like the Packers where they're saying, let's go for it and make a crazy expensive move like trading for Micah Parsons, giving up 2 first-round picks and signing him to a $188 million contract? What are you seeing from the chat here on what year?
Yeah, Bork starts us off here and says year 3. Chill Mode thinks it can be earlier than that and say next year. Orlando going 2031. Kenneth saying 27. John saying year 3. Johnny saying 27 for sure. They will go big for a stadium release year. Kyle Wood saying year 3. Alex says they're 2 years away. Best case scenario. Ray Skull saying 2027. Daniel thinks next offseason they go all in. Darius Horton saying 2027. Amnesia saying 27, no doubt. Bork says year 3 unless Cam has a Stroud level rookie season. Lee also thinks next year. Jeff says depends if they draft correctly. He would say 28 or 29. Vols says the leadership.
Pause there. If they draft correctly.
Yes.
Let's just pause there.
Correct.
Because currently it feels like the second-year players and the rookies plus Peter Skoronski from 3 years ago, that's a really good core.
Correct.
We feel really good about Peter Skoronski. We feel really good about the majority of these second-year players, right? JC, Sweat, Cedric Gray, all of a sudden now. Who else am I leaving
Jarvis,
out?
Brownlee Jr., James Williams.
Right? That group. We feel good about that. I think we already feel good about this rookie class with Cam, with Kevin Winston Jr. I'm skipping over Femi for right now. We understand that. The 3 4th-round guys that are going to be impact players day one. And then you've got the other late-round guys with
Marcus Harris and Chloe Mullings. And
Mullings is for sure. It's like I feel like that collection of, I don't know, let's just say dozen-ish players from the most recent 3 draft class is a really good start to what Jeff is saying.
Yeah, I think so. I would say that, yes, they have to draft correctly, and when they can go all in is dependent on what Cam Ward looks like in his development, right? Like if all things were, I don't know if you want to go first with your answer, but I think with draft and develop, this is a team that is going to try to take their time developing Cam Ward. And that the timeline, I think, fully depends on Cam Ward's development timeline. Because if he comes out and lights the world on fire and he is what a lot of people think he can be almost immediately, and I say immediately, like after year 1 here, I think you can look at this. I think you can look at this timeline and say that year 3 or 4 of Cam Ward's rookie contract, I think, is when it's reasonable to say that drafting and developing has gotten you back to where you want to be. I think because you look at what Green Bay has done, and I know they've had insane luck and insane strategy in terms of being able to kind of waltz into you waltz into what the Packers have, which is their quarterback situation from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. And you are now at a point with Jordan Love where they can afford to do this and it makes the money work. And they have a team around it where it makes it work. I think you look at this Titans team and where does it make the most sense for them to go in? It's in that year 3 or year 4 of Cam Ward. Because if he truly is the guy and he is making waves and he is panning out the way that a lot of people want him to, you look at that and you say, okay, we're going to take advantage of the last 2 years of this rookie contract and we're going to go all in. And I think that's realistically, it puts you around the 2028, 2029 timeline. So I do agree with Jeff.
Okay. So you say year 4.
Yeah, I'll go year 4, right before a new potential contract could kick in.
Yeah, so let's look at what the Packers are doing right now, because the Packers are going into year 3 of Jordan Love as the guy.
Yes.
Right? And he's already been paid because he sat for 2 years behind Aaron Rodgers. We know that. So Jordan Love got paid a year ago. His current cap hit, though, is just 29 million, excuse me. And then it's about to just go up after the next couple of years. So I think it is year 3. I think you see 2 years of Cam, and you can actually be ahead of where the Packers are at.
That's fair.
Because Cam's starting from day 1, where Jordan started from year 3. And so that's where I actually do think that you have that opportunity. What is the deal? This is irregardless of the stadium. The stadium being opening in 2027 is completely separate from what I'm going through.
Yes.
This is all about Cam Ward and having enough proof to go for it. And you have a better way to manipulate your cash and your cap in year 3 of Cam than you do in year 4 of Cam. Because in year 4 of Cam, you're already working on a bigger cap hit when he gets an extension and his signing bonus is crazy and you're having to work through that. Where in year 3 of Cam, if you have who is Micah Parsons going to be 3 years from now in 27? 2 years from now, I guess. Who is that player?
I brought this up yesterday. It's Will Anderson. Go get
Will
Anderson.
No, but that's obviously in the division, so that's kind of hard to do that. But if there's, I don't know who that would be. Not a Bill Carter, because that's not the same timeline. It would have to be like the top edge rusher from the last couple of years, which is Will Anderson. But
yeah.
We know we can't really do that. Let's see, 2024 draft. Who would that be? Just to have fun.
It wasn't a great.
No, because that was the all
That's
offense
the problem.
draft.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the problem. Like,
and then
number one edge was, and once again, it's another one that's in division. It's
Latu.
Yeah. Which who knows?
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of hard.
Jared Verse, maybe.
Yeah.
Kyle Wood says Jared Verse. I guess that
maybe
could work.
Max. No, Charles says Max Crosby. Max Crosby's too old for this situation, but maybe. Anyway, so I think now you get that player, whoever that is, and you just front load the crap out of the contract right as they're getting older. Maybe it is an older guy like a Max Crosby. Jared Verse makes sense too. That really comes in, you pay him while Cam's still cheap for a year, and you kind of play that game. But you've got, I think, because the Packers have 2 years of data on Jordan Love, they felt like they could do this even after paying Jordan Love last year. So that's what I'm saying. 2027, year 3 of the structure is where they can make something like this happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think year 3, year 4, like you're getting into that sweet spot where I think this can happen. And I think it is an accelerated timeline for the Titans. I have a hard time believing that Chad Brinker wanted to come in here and restart the entire cycle, like that is not what this team is. That's not what this team will ever be, but you can kind of implement a fast track sort of situation there. So yeah, I think year 3 or year 4 is pretty feasible.
Yeah. So I saw several answers that said next year. Off the top of your head, what would have to happen this year for next year to be the answer? Because if you could do it next year, then you even have more flexibility on it.
Correct. It would be, I think, like some of the people in the chat are saying, it'd have to take a CJ Stroud level season it would have to take a Jaden Daniels type of season, I think, for Cam Ward, for them to go all in next year.
So, like, the Titans would have to making the playoffs behind Cam Ward. Is that the answer? Or can they go 9-8 and miss the last? What if they're 8th in the AFC?
I think you talk about how disciplined this organization wants to be. I think with a 9-8 season, they still err on the side of caution and they try to stay disciplined, and they wait for the year after that to go all in. But you look at a team like Jaden Daniels, and you get to that second round of the playoffs.
They got the NFC Championship game.
No, I'm saying
boat race.
I know, but if you're getting if you're getting at least the second round.
Okay, so you're saying you have to be in the divisional round. So that might include winning. It probably includes winning the wild card weekend on the road type of thing.
Correct.
What if they're 9-8, they're 8th in the AFC, and they won like 6 of their last 8 games?
I could see it happen.
And they didn't make the playoffs because of like a wild card tiebreaker that they can't control. That happened. They lost it because of what happened in October of a tiebreaker where they won 6 of the last 8. I'm trying to make it tough. I'm trying to make you answer yes, right? For next year.
And I want to still err on the side of caution because I think that's what Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker would do. I think they would say no.
I think I agree with you because I think these guys are super strict on what they. I mean, you look at Chad Brinker. That guy's a very disciplined person. Like you have him.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a very disciplined dude, walking around all jacked up with his, he's always like clean shaven with a haircut, and he looks like he just got out of the gym. So like, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Amnesia says, it's another super chat here. I just realized that Malik Willis has a better chance to win a Super Bowl than anyone on the Titans team. I mean, okay. I mean, cool. So Kyle Phillips.
Technically true.
So did Kyle Phillips,
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, he was on the practice squad for the Eagles. Like that's it's just sure. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, are we ready for some good news to finish the weekend, JT?
I think we are.
All right, good news time after a stressful show, I'm sure, for several people in the audience here. But good news time. If you have good news for the weekend, drop it in the chat. Let's get it. Shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. That is their website. Help them help you save money on your new ride by going to see them there. So check them out. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. JT, good news time. If you see any good news in the chat, we'll wait a little bit for some good news to fly in. I know Jeff teased his good news. Oh, here it is. He said he had really good news from early in the show. He says, good news. Found out last night that Bowling Green has a locker room cat named Pudge, and he has his own jersey. That's the best thing ever. I guess.
I love it.
Locker room cat with a jersey.
Let's go, Pudge.
Basically, the unofficial mascot of, I guess, Bowling Green. That's where Eddie George is at now, right?
Sure.
He's the head coach. He's the head coach of Bowling Green, I believe. Who got a win?
Oh, did he? Did they win already?
I think I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, nice. Good for them. Good news for them.
We got some other good newses. We got Charlie and Clayton.
Yes.
Right there. The Vols flipped Tristan Keys, the number 1 wide receiver in the class from LSU to Tennessee. And then Clayton adds have a number 1 quarterback and Faison Brandon in a top 5 offensive tackle commit already for next year's class. So that is absolutely a good news there. Daniel says good news, college football this weekend. Let's go Ducks. So you got an Oregon Duck in the audience here. Orlando says good news. We're almost done with people asking where's Zach. Yes, thank God. All right. Zach is back Friday next week. So a week from today. So next week, again, Labor Day weekend, no show Monday. And then we'll have a couple shows. And Thursday, JT, you and Easton are doing your season preview. And then Friday, Zach and I are doing our season preview. So we will have 2 different versions of us 4 putting stuff on the record for the season to see how smart or dumb we are with our season preview predictions. So Zach will be back on Friday, and then he'll be back Mondays after games minus week 2 because he already has a conflict with that. So, all right, more good news. 4-day weekend starting today. I've heard schools got an extra day. Some schools in the area get an extra day for Labor Day weekend. So, JT, what's your good news?
Yeah, my good news, along with the obvious that football is back, got some family and friends coming into town, and they are bringing their dogs, and they're staying in Airbnb. So I get to hang out with the pups this weekend. So that'll be fun.
Nice, for sure. Orlando says, I also found out the University of Bowling Green is not in Kentucky. No, it is in Ohio. Bowling Green, Ohio. Because Bowling Green, Kentucky is the home of the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. You get to play with some pups this weekend. That's always a good weekend. Bort, long weekend, college football payday. The good news is too easy today. I'm with you. The good news is, man, tomorrow I get up and at first I was like, I don't like the fact that the Vols play at 11 a.m. But now I'm actually in on it. I'm glad. I don't have to wait. I just get to wake up and roll right into 11 a.m., have a fun morning, and then watch Tennessee The weather's been amazing this week. It's getting a little toastier today here in Nashville, but it's outside viewing weather right now. And I'm pumped up about college football and a long weekend. As several others say, good news, football is back. Hello Lady says SEC will sweep opening weekend. I doubt it.
Yes. It'd be hard.
Which SEC team do you think is most likely to lose this weekend?
Probably Texas.
You think Texas?
I mean, you look at the matchups, probably. I would say
I think
Texas.
it's LSU because that happens every year.
True. That's fair. I think there are a lot of good matchups, and it's week 1 is always weird. I would say Texas is probably the leader. LSU's up there. Alabama, I guess if Florida State has a miraculous turnaround. Tennessee. But,
Syracuse lost a lot.
They did.
Auburn's a good one. Auburn tonight.
Auburn's good.
Auburn Baylor tonight.
True.
With
I heard something through the grapevine that Auburn has a separate offensive coordinator for first, second, and third downs. Is that something Hugh Freeze actually said? Apparently, he did.
I think Hugh Freeze says things, and Hugh Freeze is a smart football person. I don't think he knows how to communicate to the media very well.
That's fair. Okay.
My thought is he's probably meant he has 2 coordinator label types. One guy game plans third down, the other guy game plans first and second down, which is not crazy or new. That happens. I know several that happens across the league. There's a lot of times that some assistant coach will game plan first down runs and what they're going to do that week against the opponent, or third down, third and short, and third and long might be different people game planning different things. That's not new. I just think he has no idea how to communicate that for people to go, oh, okay, there's what? Huh? Why are you saying weird stuff? He didn't have 3 play callers, Nick. He's the play caller. He has multiple people helping him with the game plan, which is how every football staff works.
Listen, if it is true, I don't care if it's true or not. I'm taking the Baylor points tonight with that, because that's just either way, it's ridiculous. And I think that's bad vibes for that Auburn team. And I'm taking Baylor with the points. I also, as someone said here, thoughts on the South Carolina Virginia Tech game. Take the South Carolina points with future Heisman winner Lenora Sellers.
I don't know about
eating the brakes off of Virginia Tech on Sunday.
Yeah, I do think that's a win for Carolina. I don't know what's the number. Do you know?
13.5, I think.
Maybe. Jeff says, no, Austin. The quote was, each down has a different play caller. Again, I don't think Hugh Freeze calls the plays. I think each down might have a different game planner. I just think he's inept at communicating to media and press conferences.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's I know what he said. I don't think he meant what he said. That's my point. I don't know.
We'll see. It'll be fun.
Here's my good news. Next week, the show's going to be different. The show's going to look different. The show's going to have different people helping us out. The show is about to have new partners on the show that are going to benefit you. One in particular that I'm really excited about. We just talked about lines and sports betting. We're going to have a partner this year that is going to make us win more than we did last year because of data. And I'm jacked up about it.
Well, you're also going to win more because I'm here now. And we all know that. I mean, we have 2.5 years worth of recorded data that says I am a better sports bettor than Easton. So
cool. That sounds great.
Yep.
We're going to have new partners on the show to make us better at betting this football season. And I'm pumped about it.
Super
okay.
Exciting.
That's it for us here on this week. Have a great, safe Labor Day weekend. Before you start your Labor Day weekend, hit that like button for us. Not enough likes on the show today. Never is. So hit the like button. We'll catch you guys on a Tuesday morning. Buck Rising, maybe he'll get back from Munich, Germany. I don't know when that's going to happen, but he'll be live on prime time to kick off Titans game week. Hope you enjoy the college football. Hope you enjoy the Labor Day holiday weekend. We'll catch you guys later on